Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is ASICS with Meta Endurance. In today's video, we are comparing two releases that are either just released or about to release later on at your favorite retail store. Anyways, the two shoes are exciting for different reasons, and they do somehow a bit of a similar job. At least there's an overlap between what they do. We'll come back to that in the purpose section of this video. But first, let's quickly look at the specs. The Vomero Premium sits at 55mm in the heel, 45 in the forefoot for that 10mm drop. The weight is 354 grams in my size. US 10, this is a full size down compared to my true size. It's a Nike sample size, and that's how we got the shoe quite early on in the seeding process. The Megablast is 45 in the heel, 37 in the forefoot, 8mm drop, and comes at 253 grams in my size US 11 EU45. So it's a bigger shoe that weighs 100 grams less, and that's quite significant. In terms of prices, we're looking at 225 euros for the Vomero Premium to 40 euros for the Megablast. It's expensive. The two shoes are really expensive. We'll come back to the worthiness of these prices for these two shoes here in a second. In terms of uppers, we have very different uppers. The Vomero Premium feels more, let's say, elaborated, a bit more plush, a bit more cushioned. There's way more padding everywhere on the tongue, on the heel. It's a fully gusseted tongue, meaning that you have that gusset running all the way from midfoot to the tippy toe of the shoe here. The material is a bit plasticky, it's quite thick. It's not necessarily super breathable, but right now we're going into winter month and the temperatures are dropping, so that's not a big issue. The laces are fairly simple. And in general, it's an upper that works. It's a comfortable plush upper that works, but it doesn't feel necessarily super, let's say, high-end, technical, geeky type of upper, if that makes sense. The upper of the Megablast, on the other hand, is a bit more streamlined, with, you know, kind of a caveat already, because the heel is nicely sculpted, lots of padding in the heel, a very comfortable heel. The tongue is much more minimal, the laces are more high-end, the gusset is only a semi-gusset, meaning that you only have a gusset right here, maintaining your foot nicely here in the midfoot section of the shoe. And the material is a bit thinner, a bit more pliable as well. It doesn't look like it, but it's much more pliable. It conforms a bit better with the shape of your foot. And it is also a bit more lightweight and breathable at the same time. If I had to pick one, I would pick the upper of the Megablast, but I would pick the comfort of the upper of the Vomero Premium. Not that I don't want to decide, I just think that it depends what you're expecting, and if you want something a bit more comforting, a bit more, you know, kind of hugging your feet, that's the Vomero Premium. If you want something more streamlined, that almost makes you want to go fast as soon as you put your feet in the shoe, that's going to be a bit more on the Megablast side of things. Now, looking at the midsole compounds of the two shoes, not just compounds, because here we have lots of different things. ZoomX PIBA-based material from Nike on the Vomero Premium, two Air Zoom units, one in the heel, one in the forefoot. This is a shoe that takes, you know, everything Nike has in terms of innovation in that daily trainer. It has been made like an Alter G treadmill, where the idea is that you can use this shoe when your legs are trashed, when you are going through some high intensity, high volume weeks of training. You can just use that shoe to make the, you know, double sessions or to make your recovery runs a bit more gentle, just like you would in an Alter G anti-gravity treadmill. On the Megablast, you have that new Flyfoam Turbo squared midsole compound. It is, I believe, ATPU based, if I'm not mistaken. It feels low density, lots of cushion, lots of bounce. The compound is just that. There's no shank, no plate, nothing like that. However, the shoe remains quite snappy. The way they encapsulated everything together makes it quite snappy, as you can see, which you probably can't quite do with the Vomero Premium. You can, but it's a bit different. You need a bit more strength, and the rebound is not as high. Interestingly enough, none of the shoes have stiffening elements, plates, shanks, and so on, but the Air Zoom units act a bit like that. They kind of put a layer of a different density, a different purpose in that ZoomX midsole. I think 55mm of pure ZoomX would be hard to run in. The stability is actually quite good on the Vomero Premium, I believe, thanks also to the Air Zoom units. In general, it's a shoe that has been thought of for quite some months, if not even years. And it's working quite well in terms of stability, despite not having any stiffening elements as such at 55mm in the heel. The Megablast is just a You would call it a Superblast on steroids. I think I would call it a Nimbus on steroids. That foam makes everything for that shoe. It's a lightweight, a very comfortable foam where you can pound the ground and you can have both very easy runs, but also bring some intensity in that shoe without any issue. Mostly thanks to that foam, I believe, and how the geometry of the shoe allows you to do many different things with it. I jumped a bit to the purpose of the two shoes already, but I think it's actually quite interesting to understand that there's only a small overlap between the two shoes that could almost work together in a rotation, in a 2-shoe or 3-shoe rotation if you were to add a carbon-plated race day shoe. This is really a recovery, easy run, up to maybe endurance paces type of shoe for me. Yes, you can run faster. We've seen some famous influencers on social media even run a full marathon in 2:45 with that shoe. Kudos to them. It's a great achievement. I don't think I would be able to do that, and that's for a few reasons. The first one being that the shoe weighs quite a significant amount of grams. The weight is high, to put it simply, and my legs would just fatigue faster with a shoe of that weight. The comfort, the cushion is there, and I think at marathon pace, it's still a shoe that you could see working. I would limit it for me, for my running, around 4:30 per kilometer, which is my endurance type of pace. 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 long run would be 4:30 pace, for instance. And I could see myself using this shoe on a long run, especially in high volume weeks. The Megablast, on the other hand, feels really good at pretty much anything, if I'm being honest with you. Recovery paces are fun in it, but I think it requires a bit more pounding to kind of feel how much the foam is good, is nice. And therefore, I would kind of tend to use this shoe as soon as this one becomes less practical or even useless. So endurance and above, Megablast. Easy runs, no problem, you can do them in this shoe. So this could almost be a 1-shoe rotation where the Megablast does everything. And then it shines at, marathon pace, tempo thresholds, even intervals. I pick the pace quite dramatically in this shoe on the track, on dirt, and it just delivers. If I had to keep only one, you're probably wondering which one it would be. I'm very lucky, I'm reviewing shoes. We're getting shoes in the office for our testers, and I don't have to choose. But if I had to, I would go for the Megablast just because it does more, it's more versatile, I'm having a bit more fun with it. I'm lucky to have this, and I will keep on using it because I believe that there's some days where I just wanted to have more of that oomph feeling under my feet. My legs were not trashed, but they were fatigued, and I wanted to have something a bit more forgiving, and that was the Vomero Premium. But that's just because I got it here in the office and I can use it. Would I buy it? Probably not, or only if I really had that 5-shoe rotation where one was dedicated to recovery sessions. The prices, $225 to $40, are exaggerate, and I think the big debate here is going to be whether you should get the Megablast or the Vomero Plus. So not this one, but the kind of little sister, little brother sitting at €170, $180 if I'm not mistaken, or the contrary, €180, $170. That's where the battle is really intense. Here in between these two, they're too expensive, but hey, I would still lean for the Megablast, if that makes sense. Hopefully this was useful. You learned something. If you didn't, and if you have more questions, let me know in the comments. Myself or the team will try to address your concerns, questions, issues, anything. We're here for you, and that's also hopefully some of the value we bring is in the comment section of this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, go beyond your limits. And let's link right here to the full review of this shoe, the Megablast. It's a popular review, and there's a good reason for it. It's a good shoe. Thanks for watching.